Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going to create a New Year's Day card we're stretching our stash supplies today. We are going to be using some not so New Year's themed crafty supplies that we probably already have in our stash. We're going to be using the Say It With Stamps Celebrate die set, this two-piece die set that has the word celebrate and then the shadow or the outline, and then we're going to pair that with the Celebrate Sentiment stamp set. And there is the sentiment strip dies that we're going to be using to cut out a sentiment from here. Now, since we're making a New Year's Day card, I'm going to bring in some sparkle and a stencil. This is the 6x6 stars stencil from Say It With Stamps. I think stars just go great with New Year's Day, so we'll be using this along with the Uni Alphabet die set. This is great for spelling out, customizing sentiments and spelling out words. We're going to be using this to spell out the word New Year. Okay, with that being said, I love a lot of sparkle on my cards, so we're going to start off by doing a little bit of stenciling. I'm using the 6x6 stars stencil along with some Glitz glitter gel. This is iridescent. It's from Thermoweb and Gina K Designs, and I think it's perfect to add sparkle to your background. Now this is iridescent, like I mentioned, so it's very light tone, but we're going to create a colorful background by using a few of our inks. I'm going to go with a green ink, a purple ink, and a blue ink on my background. So let's bring in some cardstock. I have an A2 panel, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, and I already have Pixie Spray behind my stencil. Pixie Spray is a low tack adhesive, and this way I don't have to tape it down. You can see it sticks to that beautifully. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my craft mat and a few of my blending brushes that coordinate with these colors. I'm going to create a colorful background using these inks, and then we're going to go over this with our Glitz glitter gel. This way we have color and sparkle at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and start with our green ink. I'm going to pick up a little bit color, and I'm going to be going at a diagonal with our ink. Of course, with green, the next color that would blend great with this, our blue ink here, and blend these two together. Once we have, let's zoom in a little bit. Once we have these two colors down, we can go in with our third color, which is purple. Kind of overlapping these two colors to get that third color. I love this. And then we're going to repeat with the green. Wonderful. You can see the diagonal stripes that we created. And of course you can intensify these colors or make them as bold or as soft as you like. But I think for New Year's we're going bold. Okay, we're going to put away our inks, and while our stencil is still on our cardstock, what we're going to do next is take a towel and we're going to wipe away all this ink. We're not going to lift it up because this is when we're going to add our Glitz glitter gel. I'm going to go ahead and grab a palette knife. And then what we're going to do is just spread some of this Glitz glitter gel right over our stars here. It's going to add the sparkle that we want. It will tone down the color just a little bit. Okay, so I have a lot of sparkle over my stencil. We're going to go ahead and put this off to the side. And then I'm going to lift up the stencil. And now we have, what you want to do is just drag your finger along the edges, because you do have some sharp points from that stencil. And there we have some fabulous stars in our background, a little bit of sparkle, and also some dimension too. Everything that I love, lots of texture. I'm going to take my stencil, my palette knife, and my craft mat to the sink. We'll wash this out. I'm going to go ahead and set this aside to dry, and then we're going to do a little bit of die cutting. Okay, we're going to die cut out the word celebrate using some silver glitter cardstock. I think this is going to make for a fun New Year's Day card. So we're going to die cut that with silver glitter cardstock. The background or the shadow we're going to die cut out with white cardstock. And then while we're die cutting, I have the sentiment strips that will cut out our secondary sentiment here. I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says what we have here is a reason to, and then celebrate. We'll finish off that. I'll pick this up with my acrylic block, and we'll stamp this with black ink on the bottom here. And then we'll line up our sentiment strip and die cut this out as well. And there's different sizes of sentiment strips, so you can find the one that lines up beautifully with this. Very soft gray. You can see it compared to the white. I'm going to take my uni alphabet dies. I'm going to grab the letters that will spell out New Year, and I'm going to die cut out some letters. I will have to die cut out the E twice here. While I'm at it too, I'm going to die cut out some backgrounds with some fun foam. But I will do a little bit of my die cutting, and then when I'm all done, we're going to create a New Year's Day card. Okay, die cutting is all done, and you can see I have some foam too that I die cut out also. Now here is our sentiment that says what we have here is a reason to. Just using my tape runner, I'm going to add some adhesive behind it, and we're going to tack this down to the foam that I cut out just using the sentiment strip die. Just line this up for a little bit of dimension. Now I die cut out two because we are going to create a floating look on our card today. I didn't want to take away from our beautiful sparkle that we have here. So to do that, I have a piece of acetate. This is a 1/2 inch smaller than our panel here. So it measures 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. This is going to create a floating look where we can place all of our sentiments on the acetate. To do that, it's very easy. What we're going to we're going to first start by placing our block letters, our uni alphabet, on our acetate. Now I'm just using my tape runner, but you could use glue if you wanted to. And I like to start with the first and the last letters. This way I can evenly space the rest. And if you wanted to use a ruler to help with your spacing, you could. After we have our New Year adhered, we do have our foam, but I'm going to do this on the opposite side. This way it's going to give me a little bit of dimension and create a floating look. Now we have our celebrate. I'm going to add some adhesive behind here. And then we'll just tack it down to the shadow. Now we're going to flip our celebrate on the reverse side, and then we're going to take some foam adhesive. After we have the foam adhered behind our celebrate, we're going to tack this down just above the year. Lastly, we're going to take what we have here is a reason to, and we are going to place this evenly spacing it just underneath the new. Wonderful. I'm going to flip this around. For the back side, I'm going to use a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to add a little bit behind all of the letters, like so. And then we'll place our foam right on the reverse side. tacking it down. This is going to give us dimension, and it's also going to create a floating look for our card. And I don't think it's going to take away from the sparkle that we created with our Glitz glitter gel. Just tack these down. You want to make sure that you line them up as close as you can, but you don't want them peeking out from the reverse side. And then I'll lastly add my Celebrate, like so. So we have a little bit of dimension on the reverse side. I'm going to put this off to the side, and then I'm going to bring in my card base. My card base today is a standard A2 size card base. My stenciling is nice and dry. It's a no shed, but you can see that sparkle. We're going to flip this around, and I'm going to use glue to adhere this to my card base. Since it's a card front panel, it will cover the entire front. I have put a little bit of glue behind each letter. Carefully, since it's acetate and glue, you want to give it a little bit of time to dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip over my acetate and place it right in the middle of my panel to make sure that that foam adheres to your stenciled background. I suggest maybe weighing it down a little bit with a few acrylic blocks. This way it will attach to that Glitz glitter gel that we put on our background. Lastly, I'm going to go ahead and take some of my sequins. These have a little bit of that same iridescent tint that our background has. And I'm going to add a few little bits of confetti on my background. And we're going to attach some to the letters and some to the acetate. Okay, and of course you can add as much or as little as you want. And I love how it looks like even the gems are floating on top of our project here. And then that will finish off my card today. A floating card with lots of sparkle using some not so New Year supplies, kind of stretching those supplies. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. We will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.